too nice to lose weight. You're too loving was another title we thought of.
Yeah.
To lose weight. What is going on with this title? Because I don't think many people have heard that before. They're too nice to lose weight.
Do you think they have an idea where we're going with it?
This is real, right? Like this is this
It's very real.
like
very real. I think for some people, they're going to be like, "That's exactly my problem." I think for some
there is
some will reject it.
An epidemic of people that are too nice, and so their weight loss goals are never achieved. They stay overweight or obese because they're too nice. So let's go. Yeah, I mean, man, what a topic.
Yeah. People that are offering you food all the time. What are you going to say? You know, your grandma comes over. Susie, I made your favorite peanut butter pie. No thanks, Grandma. Or, Grandma, yes. And you eat the whole pie because you want to be nice.
Not even the whole pie, just a hefty slice.
No.
The whole pie?
The more you eat, the nicer you were to Grandma. And I realize, obviously, some people are like, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard of. We've all done it. We've all done it where we've eaten something that we didn't want to eat. We were at we call them home groups with our church last night. Somebody made these nice sugar cookies.
This is like the second or third reference to your home group.
Oh, man, I don't know what to do. And they're passing around these sugar cookies at the end. You know, somebody brings a snack, very generous. And you want to appreciate that, you know, and show your appreciation, which I always... And I told my wife, I said, honey, you need to make something. This lady's always making something. You know, let's just share the love here. And it got around in these sugar cookies, and my wife and I passed.
Are you about to throw?
I passed.
No, not your dear wife.
It's not that I don't eat. And my wife said, "Here, eat a bite of this, so I don't eat too much and get fat." She did that. She said, "You eat a bite of this, so I don't want to eat too much and get fat." I'm like, "What are you doing?" So guess what I did?
Some reverse psychology.
I took this little bite because it's not that I don't eat that stuff, but I want it to be when I make the choice, what I want, what I like. Or what you end up doing is doing it too often. So if you don't have any boundaries, and my boundary is I tend to not eat it there. So it's just funny. We do stuff like this, and we've got to get to where we know what's happening instead of acting like, oh, I just love my kids, so I go to all these things. I do this, I do that, but I don't have time to go to the gym because I go to my kids' soccer. Mm-hmm. Or isn't that what I'm supposed to do? I remember one guy I was talking to, and I was concerned about him because I saw him get bigger and bigger. He's a big guy. You know, he played football in high school. We're going to do a talk on ex-athletes pretty soon. Because you got all these ex-athletes that are now huge, out of shape. And like, I used to be an athlete. And I'm like, bro, all right. The used to stuff, I get some of that. But so I asked my buddy, I said, hey, Bill, let's call him Bill. I said, where you working out? You know, I just thought I'd bring the conversation. Where do you work out? Because he looked strong, but he was way overweight. He said, oh, man, I'm driving a truck. I get up in the morning. I leave early. I get home. I want to spend time with my kids. And it was all this stuff about I care about my family. Therefore, I don't restrict my eating, and I don't work out because how much I love my family. You ever hear that?
Working with you in the past, I saw it a lot. I think I saw it particularly with mothers, but it's...
Can I tell the mother-daughter story? They were at my house, at our house, years ago. The mother was a beauty queen in high school and all this, and had gained weight over the years. It's gradual, was about 100 pounds overweight, and she's sitting there with her daughter who's athletic, and she's trying to decide if she wants to go through my program. Really, in her mind, do I want to change? You know, do I want to change? Because she's caring. She loves her family. She goes to her kids' stuff,
makes
including
time for her family.
Her daughter's a good soccer player. She's going to go to all the games. Isn't that enough? I love my family. I'm here for my family, for my kids. I'm laying it down. I go to all their stuff. Now, can you just leave me alone when it comes to what I eat? Aren't I doing enough with the love that I have for people around me? I make them food. I go to their things. I care about people. And now you're going to tell me I need to go to the gym? No, I'm not going to tell you that. What am I going to tell you? Did you need a second helping?
Bingo.
Did you need dessert? Is that part of how you're loving people, by not denying yourself that enjoyment. And we've got to get it, because sometimes it's easier to be nice than it is to be loving.
Whoa. Ooh.
It's easier to be nice than it is to be like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Yeah, let me do that for you. You know, we're nice.
Are you suggesting that the loving thing might sometimes be saying no to...
Yes.
Just saying no?
Saying no.
Not being as available?
Well, you've seen the book on boundaries. Boundaries is a big thing. Now, do you have boundaries in your life? Should you have boundaries in your life? And a boundary can look like you're pushing someone away when really it's to protect you and the other person and to have a proper relationship. When we have no boundaries, they can do things and say things, and you got to have a boundary. What's a boundary? A boundary is a limit that defines acceptable behavior. You got it. You memorized that.
I've been around this long.
Say it again. A boundary is a limit that defines acceptable behavior. I have a boundary. Thank you, Meemaw, for bringing this peanut butter pie.
Now get it out of here!
Get it out of here!
Get it out of here!
Get trash! See, that's what people think it looks like when you say no thank you.
And it doesn't have to.
I'm on a mission here. You know what I think might help us look at this a little bit and help people see it is to talk about your mission that you're on right now, because I think it helps people see.
Yeah.
Can I cover that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to hear that, it's oftentimes not a denying the Mama's cake, or you're at your friend's birthday and they're all eating very large quantities of junk, and you're the one that says no. Oftentimes it's dare I say, a conviction thing, and it's not that they're just like hurt because of they feel judged because they want to eat this stuff and stay heavy, and suddenly someone in our friend group that we've known for a long time is saying no to it. How dare you?
How dare you? You're messing up. Now we had something good going.
You're judging me now. You're making me feel judged.
We go out to eat. We always ate queso together and chips, and now you are doing
makes you so good?
Carrots and stuff. You're messing it up. You're selfish. You're selfish because you got in the way of this. Here's what some people are going to need to do that's going to rub them, but it's going to help. They need some anger. They need some aggression. They need some intolerance. They need some boundaries. I remember one guy was doing my program. We'll call him Heath. And he said, Joe, he'd lost 100 and something pounds. He said, Joe, I'm going to tell you something that happened. I don't know if I did the right thing or not. He said, I went to a funeral of a friend of mine who passed away. And some of us who were close, in college or whenever, we were close. We got together. And our friend who passed away loved Little Debbie cakes.
Okay.
And we were, in honor of Fred, we were going to all eat a Little Debbie cake.
Cheers a Little Debbie cake.
At the funeral, okay? Because of, and it's just he said, Joe, see, he was on this mission. He needed to lose another 100 pounds. And he was on a mission. And he said, guys, I'm going to pass on the Little Debbie cake.
Some people are going to look at that and say, you're a snob.
You're a snob.
You're kind of a jerk.
He said, Joe, I'm wondering if that was wrong of me. We're just trying to honor my friend. You know what it reminded me of? When my dad passed away, there were a group. My dad enjoyed a drink or 10, He enjoyed drinking. Mm-hmm. And in honor of my dad at his funeral, I remember there were a few guys, including at least one of my brothers and some friends, that their motives were good. One of them happened to be an alcoholic. And they're going to have a shot of bourbon to honor my dad. Okay, should there be some kind of a boundary there? Is that the same as the food thing? It's closer than you think. It's closer than you think, which exposes why we don't treat it, which is why we're fat. Which is why we're all fat, because we don't think it's closer than you think. We think it's a totally separate thing. Uh-huh. This is not like drinking. As you die when you're 50 of a heart attack because you were nice. I don't want to, I'm not going to stir anything. I'm not going to cause any trouble here. So you're on this journey. If y'all don't know, Paul is on a journey. He's a better than average pickleball player. He was thinking, this is a lot of fun. One day your wife comes and says, you know what? Why don't you just go for it? Why don't you just go for it? Why don't you see if you can get to a professional level and actually make some money on this? Okay, regardless what you think about that, for Paul to achieve what he wants to do, he's going to have a vision, have a mission, and say no to a lot of things
that are outside
of that might even be good things. And Paul is probably going to be accused of being selfish, too focused on that, neglecting other things that are important, maybe even neglecting his family. Ooh. And I've done things like that with work in the past where, hey, I talked to my wife and said, hey, why don't we go for this? We have a convention thing, a contest, and we can make more money. We can do this. Is it a wise thing to do? So anytime you do something like that, you're putting yourself out there. I love a quote from a preacher who said, set yourself on fire with passion and people will come from miles to watch you burn. There is something about somebody that's focused and on mission, and they can look, and you're going to have people that look at them and say, oh, what are they trying to prove? What are you trying to prove, Paul? What are you trying to prove? You're out there drilling all the time. You're getting up early. You're leaving the house. You're with all these people trying to get better and improve. What is that all about? You could be doing good things. You could be serving people. You could be helping the homeless, and you're out there playing pickleball.
Where are you going with this, Bubs?
Or you're a hard worker. You work extra hours. You could come home and finding out, now, what makes this okay? And I think we come back to boundaries. Do you have boundaries in your life? Because if you're going to train your children, if you're going to be a good worker, there's always going to be accusation coming to you. So yes, I'm kind of questioning, how do you decide to be great at something? And what I'm saying here are people that are obese, that are 100 pounds overweight, 50 pounds overweight, whatever. I think they need to make a decision similar to yours. I want to become great at losing weight. Because if you don't, you're not going to lose weight.
Well, not necessarily answering your question totally, but a month and a half ago when my wife and I had that conversation to go after this, it really was a switch of, I've been invested in it, I've been trying to get good, and I'm kind of half in.
Casual level.
Casual level too, I'm all in. And making that switch, now things are lining up.
It falls into place, doesn't it? Things fall into place.
But if I was still indecisive with this, who knows? I would have probably quit by now. I would definitely not have been. I've drilled 5 days a week since we started. I probably would have missed several. And is that not the same with this? If you got 50 pounds, lose 100 pounds, you can waffle and it may or may not ever happen. Or you can decide, I'm doing it.
Well, back to the nice piece. With you playing, and I've seen it.
Sure.
Been playing pickleball in groups, and someone say, Paul, come on in here and play. And it's for what Paul's trying to do, it would be better for him to say no thank you to getting in this game, because he could be in this game over here.
Right.
And it looks like you're snobby, or it looks like you're selfish. It looks like you're not being nice, when in fact what you have is a reasonable boundary to achieve a goal that you have, that you've prayed about, you've talked to your wife about, you've thought it through. Is this a wise thing for me to do? Take it to weight loss. Have you thought about it? Is it a wise thing? Would it make sense to go all in?
Yeah.
Because some people are looking at you with what you're doing, and he's not very nice. He wouldn't play with us just because we're not as good as him.
It happened at the courts a few days ago. Someone got upset at me because I didn't jump in a game when they needed a player because I was focused on getting in a higher level game.
Oh, you snob. You pickleball snob. Guys, it's difficult to have conversations like this and not make a little fun and not poke a little fun. Get over it, okay? That's just part of this.
Part of it.
That's just who we are. We're going to poke a little fun at people that are, in some ways, virtue signaling how nice they are when they're just not willing to go all in and get it done.
Yeah.
So let's consider, what's that it's going to look like to go all in and get it done with weight loss. And is it okay here to say maybe you ought to consider doing one of my 21-day transformations, Mr. Nice Guy? Learn how to get a little bit angry. You know what you need to get angry at? Overeating, how big you are. You know what you need to be intolerant of? Eating dessert when you don't need dessert. Not getting it done. You need to become intolerant. I was talking about those things that don't look nice.
Right, not having longevity and being there for your family years down the road
should irritate you
because you kept making the nice sacrifices to always be there and not taking your health seriously and the food and the obesity seriously. Go ahead and start that right now. Get a little selfish. Do a 21-day transformation or another program that locks you in to where you can get very specific and see the step-by-step, lose the weight, get a little selfish for a little while. Selfish, when in reality, that's really blessing the people around you and those closest to you. But yeah, 21-day transformation, the link is below. Yeah. Dad, you got pretty intense. This was maybe a top 3. Anytime you bring in like family, your father, I don't know exactly what it was that flipped that switch, but I do think it is appropriate because in all reality, we are dealing with something that is very impactful and not a matter of life and death in some circumstances.
So as people are listening, where are they finding difficulty with what we're saying? Because I think when we talk about going all in, it can look like you've sold your soul. Does that make sense? It's like, this is the most important thing in the world to me. Nothing else matters to me. And you've sold your soul for this one thing, to be great at something. And I think we do need to be cautious about that. When I mentioned when I did it with my business, it was prayerful, and I talked to my spouse about it. With what you just did, it was prayerful, and you got the blessing of your family from that. So there is, because I think it is possible to say, I'm going to be the fittest person, and it can be an idol in your life.
Okay.
So to distinguish from it becoming an idol, and I think a lot of people that are being too nice are going to say, oh, it's an idol.
Really quickly.
It's an idol. It's an idol. You've made an idol out of that.
You're obsessed.
And then I'm going to pull back and say, did you make an idol out of that dessert you just ate? So I think part of this, when people say going all in means I gotta go after it and be at the gym all the time. No, you just say no to dessert. That's going all in for most people. The hardest thing about going all in is not doing 75 hard at the gym. It's not going to the gym. It's not doing CrossFit 2 hours a day. That is not the hard part. Is it?
The hard part is saying no to a second helping.
The hard part is saying no to a second helping.
Or embracing hunger and learning
not
how to
snacking at night. It's these things. That's all it is. We want to make it, well, I can't go to the gym. I got a knee problem. Don't eat it. That's the big deal here. Don't eat it. I don't care how much you work out or don't work out. That is not your issue. It's you don't hold food lightly. Let's translate our love for our family, for our friends, for ourselves. Let's move it away from, I don't have time to work out, to, you know what? I've just decided to hold food lightly, and I just eat a little compared to what I used to eat. And I go around hungry sometimes, and I don't feel as satisfied as I used to. There's the home run we're looking for. There it is. Not you've joined a big workout thing.
You become an Iron Man.
Yeah, not to become an Iron Man. Now, of course I want to exercise, of course. But see, we use that as an excuse to eat, to continue eating what we want.
These are not the cookies you are looking for.
These are not the snacks you're looking for.
Guys.
Did we cover it?
It got pretty real in this video. Dare I say, it got pretty sober.
Nice doesn't equal love.
Nice does not equal
love. We got to
love.
distinguish that.
Comment below. Let us know, did you guys resonate with the message of this video? Is this something that you've thought about maybe recently for yourself or for a loved one? Consider sharing this video. If you don't want to send it specifically to somebody, just post it on your social with a link to it. We greatly appreciate that. It gets these videos around and helps us, since we're investing a lot of time to make this stuff happen and get back to you guys on a weekly basis. But yeah, comment below. Let us know. That. Let us know your thoughts on it. I genuinely am intrigued to see where the conversation goes after posting this.
100%. Very good.
All right, guys. See you again very soon. Trainer Joe Train your brain.
and transform your body.